We're here today to celebrate the life of and say goodbye to Donald Wayne Tuttle, the youngest child of Robert Larston and Georgia Darnell Tuttle. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Colby, and I'm the second oldest of his 5 grandsons. On behalf of my entire family, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today, and thank you for all of the kind words, thoughts, and prayers that we've received over the past few months since our loss on April 6, 2020. Donald Wayne Tuttle was born at the Tuttle Home Place in High Point, North Carolina on September 12, 1937, 83 years ago today. He was known by a variety of names: Wayne, Mr. Tuttle, preacher, pastor, Debbie, but I, along with my younger brother and 3 cousins, had the privilege of calling him our Papa, which is how I'll refer to him today. Wayne, as he was most commonly known, spent his childhood picking tobacco with his older brother, Robert Jr., on their family farm. Papa graduated from Allen J. High School in 1956 and married his wife of almost 62 years, Shirley Mae Wood, on July 20th, 1958. He had a short stint in college at Appalachian State College, where he majored in music before dropping out after 1 semester. He was always the first to admit that he was not made for school and would rather do anything else but go. After leaving Appalachian, he worked as a butcher for A&P Foods for 5 years before he was called into ministry in 1962, when he started school again at Gardner-Webb College. He finally obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in history from Limestone College in 1967. We're here today at the First Baptist Church of Sunset Harbor. While this was the last church that my grandpa left his impact on, it certainly was not the only. He began his ministry in January of 1963 as the interim pastor of Broad River Baptist Church in Blacksburg, South Carolina, where he preached for 8 months. On the second Sunday in August of 1963, he began pastoring at Antioch Baptist Church in River, North Carolina. August of 1963 was a big month for Papa. Not only did he begin his pastorship at a new church and move his family to a new town, but he was also ordained by the Rapist Memorial Church in High Point. In July of 1971, he packed up his 2 daughters and pregnant wife and moved to Rockingham, North Carolina, where he became the pastor of Pine Grove Baptist Church. Coming full circle, as he was baptized at the age of 14 at another Pine Grove Baptist Church in High Point. He led Pine Grove for almost 22 years before being asked to serve as the Director of Missions for the PD Baptist Association, serving Richmond and Scotland counties. He worked as the Director of Missions until his retirement in 2009. However, retirement did not last long. He and my grandma moved to Sunset Harbor to live out the rest of their years as a retired couple, but God had other plans. Due to unforeseen circumstances in 2009, he was once again called upon and began pastoring here where we stand today. He spent almost 10 years as the pastor here at Sunset Harbor, where he was able to make a lasting impact on this community and its residents. It was his honor, and he felt truly blessed to be named Pastor Emeritus of First Baptist Church of Sunset Harbor on June 1st, 2019. His accomplishments were many. From starting the first Sunday school class in the state of North Carolina specifically for the mentally handicapped, to serving on the general boards for both the North and South Carolina Southern Baptist conventions. He was always willing to give back. He impacted countless lives in his 82.5 years on this earth. He was involved in hundreds of births, funerals, and weddings during his time, and it was an honor for my wife Ashley and I to have him preach at our wedding in May of 2019, the last wedding that he preached. I'm a big history buff and have always been interested in family history. One item that I stumbled upon when doing my research is a resume that my grandpa wrote in 1985. In the resume, he stated, "I don't know why God, in his infinite mercy, chose me to be one of his ordained ministers, but I'm grateful and amazed every day at what God is doing through me." He was an incredible role model and mentor, and if I turn into even half of the man that he was, I'll consider myself a success. I've talked a lot about his early life and professional accomplishments, but everyone who knew him knew that he was happiest when he was with his family. Together, my grandparents had 3 children, my aunts Kim and Donna, and my dad Kevin. As much as he loved his own kids, his grandboys were his pride and joy. He had Max, Colby Duke, Grandma Lamb, Lukey Duke, and Bailey Duke. And he would do anything for us. The memories are numerous that we made as a family. When my grandparents still lived in Rockingham, we spent every summer day in the pool playing with the numerous floats and pool toys that he would constantly buy us. Each Christmas, we read the Christmas story straight from the Bible, and I'll never forget running the bases at Turner Field in Atlanta with all of my cousins when we traveled there as a family. After the passing of my grandpa in April, I spent a lot of time reading through Facebook comments that people had left for my family, and one really stood out to me. I can't remember who said it, but she made a note that children and dogs always love them, and that really resonated with me as true. Because dogs, they know. They have a sixth sense about who can be trusted, and children, they feel. They feel in their heart who loves them, and they can easily recognize a kindred spirit, which he definitely had. We all mourn the man who is gone, and will remember the impact that he made on his community and the people around him. I know that my words here today can never do justice to the type of man he was or how we all feel about him. But I hope that when you leave here today, you'll always remember to cherish the memories and appreciate the impact that he had on your life. As the quote from the classic show MASH goes,